A chance encounter. Emma was a young journalist living in New York City. Her life, a constant whirl of deadlines and late-night coffee runs. She had little time for romance, not because she didn't want it, but because her trust had been shattered in the past. Her days were predictable, and she liked it that way. One rainy evening, Emma missed her subway stop and found herself at an unfamiliar station. Frustrated, she tried to figure out the next train when she noticed an elderly man struggling with his umbrella. Without hesitation, she offered to help. "Thank you, dear," the man said, smiling warmly. "My name's Walter. You remind me of my late wife. She was always helping strangers too." Emma smiled politely, but her curiosity was piqued. Walter had a twinkle in his eye that made her linger. He shared stories of his great love, Eleanor, whom he had met by pure chance decades ago. She was late for a train, and so was I. We ended up sharing a cab. That's how it all began, Walter said with a wistful smile. Sometimes, the best things in life happen when you least expect them. Emma helped Walter to his destination, and as they parted, he said, "Don't be afraid to miss a train now and then. You never know what or who you might find." The next morning, Emma couldn't shake Walter's words. She decided to take a different route to work, just for a change. At a small cafe she'd never noticed before, she ordered a coffee and sat by the window. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" a voice asked. Emma looked up to see a man about her age, holding a book she'd recently read. "Not at all," she said, surprised by her own willingness to engage. The man introduced himself as James, a teacher who lived nearby. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, and Emma found herself laughing more than she had in months. They discovered a shared love for travel, books, and trying new foods. Before leaving, James asked if she'd like to meet again. Over the next few weeks, Emma and James grew closer. He was kind, attentive, and genuine, the opposite of the people who had hurt her in the past. But just as she began to let her guard down, James revealed something that shook her. "I wasn't completely honest with you," he said one evening, his voice heavy with guilt. "I saw you helping Walter that night at the station. He's my grandfather. He told me about you, and I couldn't stop thinking about meeting you." Emma was stunned. So, this wasn't a coincidence? "No," James admitted. "But I didn't plan to fall for you. That just happened." Emma felt conflicted, unsure whether to be angry or touched. She took time to process the revelation, reflecting on Walter's advice about missed trains and unexpected encounters. Eventually, She realized that while their meeting hadn't been entirely accidental, the connection they'd built was real. James had been honest, vulnerable, and willing to risk rejection for the chance to know her. When Emma called James to meet, he arrived looking nervous. "I am sorry if I hurt you," he began, but she stopped him. "You're forgiven," she said with a smile. "And I think your grandfather might be a little too good at matchmaking." From that day on, Emma and James grew inseparable. They often visited Walter, who beamed with pride every time he saw them together. Their love story, though unconventional, became one of trust, growth, and the kind of happiness that comes from taking a chance on the unexpected. And as Emma often told James, sometimes the wrong train takes you to the right place.